25 minutes before 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Friday morning. It's time for NewsBites. NewsBites is the portion of AM Ocala Live during which Robin and I will read the news, and we shorten it. It gives you a chance to catch up on the news without spending all day trying to do so and get on with your own life, live your own news. And usually we get between 20 and 25 stories into this segment. We'll also tell you the news agencies that we're getting these stories from so you can look them up for yourself. And the first one does come from ABC News. Hold on a second. No, it's from the Associated Press. Joining U.S. forces acting in Iraqi skies, France conducted its first airstrikes this morning against the militant Islamic State group, destroying a logistics depot that it controlled, Iraqi and French officials have said. Rafale fighter jets, accompanied by support planes, struck the depot in northern Iraq this morning, and the target was entirely destroyed, according to a statement from President Francois Hollande's office. In a statement, Iraq's military spokesman said 4 French airstrikes killed dozens of extremist fighters. Other operations will follow in the coming days, according to the statement. Qasim al-Musawi, spokesman for the Iraqi military, said 4 French airstrikes hit the town of Zumar this morning, killing dozens of extremist fighters. Zumar and surrounding towns are heavily contested by Islamic State fighters, even though Iraqi and Kurdish security forces have managed to make headway nearby with the support of U.S. airstrikes. With the strikes, France becomes the first foreign country to publicly add military muscle to United States airstrikes against the group, which has drawn criticism around the world, and in a unanimous UN Security Council resolution for its barbarity.
Florida supporters of Democrat Charlie Crist are demanding the Republican Party of Florida stop airing an ad that accuses Crist of being involved in a $1 billion Ponzi scheme. Pasco County tax collector Mike Fasano says the GOP has gone off the deep end. The ad that people throughout the state are watching is nothing but a lie. Former police chief and juvenile justice secretary Walt McNeil says it's not just a lie, it's also an insult to your intelligence. This is his quote: "As someone who knows a crime when he sees it, Rick Scott owes it to the citizens of Florida to take down these ads." It's not just Crist supporters blasting the ad. The independent political fact-checking agency PolitiFact calls it a lie. The person who says he was swindled actually got his money back. And until this ad came out, he never said Crist was involved. But the Florida GOP has already spent more than $2 million airing the ad and is not backing down, reported by the Florida News Network.
And from the Reuters news agency, the U.S. government will set up a task force and presidential advisory council to tackle the growing threat of antibiotic resistance to national security, setting a February 15th deadline for the outlining of specific steps to be taken. White House advisors said at a press conference yesterday. The White House announced the moves in an executive order charging the Secretaries of Defense, Agriculture, and Health and Human Services to establish the task force, which will advise on steps to preserve the effectiveness of the remaining medically important antibiotics available to treat humans.
Home Depot said yesterday that payment information for about 56 million cards have been put at risk in a Home Depot security breach that took place between April and September of this year. Criminals used unique custom-built malware to evade detection. This is according to the company's statement. The malware had not been seen previously in other attacks. The company has said that it has eliminated the malware involved in the breach from its systems in the United States and in Canada, and also wrapped up a major payment security project affecting all of its stores in the United States. To protect customer data until the malware was eliminated, any terminals identified with malware were taken out of service, and the company quickly put in place other security enhancements, reported by MSNBC.
And the next story is a WOCA exclusive. There are currently no fewer than 66 Uber job openings listed for the Ocala area seeking drivers. Uber, as well as Uber X and Uber XL, are public transportation alternatives that have been banned in some cities. Even Germany banned Uber for a while, but they have since lifted the ban. The Ocala ads claim that a driver can make $40 an hour hour. Uber, for those who don't know, connects riders to drivers through an app. The drivers use their own vehicles. Founded in the year 2009, Uber now exists in over 70 cities. Drivers must be at least 23 years old, have a 4-door vehicle, and the vehicle must be a 2005 or newer. Traditional taxi drivers in the city of San Francisco say Uber and their competition Lyft have caused great distractions for the taxi drivers. Distractions is probably the wrong word. Municipalities have been scratching their heads as to whether or not to allow the service. In some cases, such as the state of Virginia, the service was banned, and then, after negotiations with Uber, the ban was lifted. With 66 job listings in Ocala, it appears our local legislators may soon be faced with the same dilemma as Boston, Los Angeles, New Orleans, and San Francisco.
Dick Morris, former White House strategist during the heyday of Bill Clinton, said Wednesday in Capitol Hill's hearings on Benghazi that they are only the tip of the iceberg. The issue is about to get really heated for former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. This is his quote: "She has not hit that bump in the road yet, really. She's about to hit big time the Benghazi problem." Morris explained the process of investigation and said it would not be pretty for the Democratic Party presidential forerunner. First of all, you have the hearings. You have the report that there was a document dump going on before the hearings in the basement of the State Department, overseen by her chief counsel, Cheryl Mills, reported by the Washington Times.
This is from the New York Times. The latest propaganda video by the Islamic State is horrible to watch, but the message is muddled. The same terrorist group that is so unreasonable it beheads journalists on video is now using a video of a captive journalist to try to appeal to reason. The title of the latest manifesto is "Lend Me Your Ears." It's a painful image and confusing one. A black backdrop frames the journalist John Cantley as if he were being interviewed in an HBO documentary. He is seated at a table and not kneeling in the sand, and speaks with a clear, confident, almost jaunty cadence that clashes with his gaunt face and orange jumpsuit. Mr. Canty tells the camera that he will explain what the Islamic State is really like, saying, quote, "There are two sides to every story," unquote. That's what news anchors or defense lawyers say, but it's not what messianic extremists proclaim. Up until now, at least, there was only one side, one truth, and that was their own. One reason the Islamic State has been so scary is the medieval barbarism of Pol Pot combined with sleek Silicon Valley media savvy. The latest video, however, is an awkward and awkwardly timed appeal, a request for reflection on the same day that the Senate approved military action against the Islamic State. Mr. Cantley warns that the West is embarking on an unwinnable conflict.
Even law enforcement with a warrant to pull private user data off of someone's fancy new iPhone or iPad might be out of luck. Apple says that with the release of iOS 0.8, it's now not physically possible for even the company itself to access that info. This is reported by the Washington Post. In an open letter posted yesterday on the Apple website, CEO Tim Cook explains the company's commitment to consumer privacy, facilitated by a new encryption process that will hopefully keep at bay attacks like the recent celebrity nude photo hack, which incidentally Apple says was not its fault, reported by Fox News.
And from the Discovery.com website, the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer experiment is a state-of-the-art particle physics detector that is constructed, tested, and operated by an international team composed of 60 institutes from 16 countries and organized under United States Department of Energy sponsorship. It is attached to the International Space Station and has been in operation since 2011. Analysis of 41 billion cosmic rays striking the Alpha Magnetic Spectrometer particle detector aboard the International Space Station shows an unknown phenomena that is consistent with a dark matter particle known as a neutralino, according to researchers in an announcement made yesterday. Key to the hunt is the ratio of positrons to electrons, and so far the evidence from AMS points in the direction of dark matter. Positrons are the antimatter counterpart to electrons, the smoking gun scientists look for is a rise in the ratio of positrons to electrons, followed by a dramatic fall, the telltale sign of dark matter annihilating the Milky Way's halo, which lies beyond its central disk of stars and dust, according to Michael Turner, director of the Kavli Institute for Cosmological Physics at the University of Chicago. I know I don't give commentary, but that one was over my head. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back. We've got weather and a few commercials. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. A couple showers and a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon, otherwise mostly cloudy today with a high 82 to 85. Then partly cloudy tonight with a couple showers and thunderstorms, especially during the evening, a low 68 to 73. Variable clouds tomorrow with a couple showers and thunderstorms, a high 82 to 85. Then on Sunday, times of clouds and sunshine with a shower or thunderstorm around, mainly during the afternoon, a high 85 to 88. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust-proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Yvette, and I'm here to tell you a few things about ABC Frederick's Appliance. They sell not only new, but used guaranteed appliances. When you call ABC Frederick's Appliance, they will provide service on what they sell and any appliances that you own. ABC Frederick's Appliance is located in Bellevue, right over the railroad tracks. Call 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. That's 352-629-5181. ABC Frederick's Appliance.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Your home is safe, or is it? AA Lock, Dock, and Security. The name has been a staple in Ocala since 1985. Do you have the right equipment in place to have peace of mind when you are at home or away? AA Lock, Dock, and Security has the right people to install and monitor your home or business. Call today for a free on-site security analysis. Call 867-1965. AA Lock, Dock, and Security, 219 Northwest 10th Street, 867-1965.
You've got a garden and we've got a show for you called You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
All right, 11 minutes before 9 o'clock, let's return to NewsBites. The next story is from the Associated Press. A JetBlue airliner that experienced engine problems soon after takeoff returned to the Long Beach airport yesterday after smoke filled the cabin and passengers evacuated onto the runway using the plane's emergency slides. None of the 142 passengers and 5 crew members were injured during the evacuation, though medical personnel tended to 3 passengers at the scene and 1 other was taken to a hospital for observation, according to airport spokeswoman Cassie Perez Harmison. Flight 1416 was bound for Austin, Texas, when the crew declared an emergency after an overheat warning from one of its 2 engines.
The flesh-colored cycling kit that makes the Colombian women's cycling team look naked below the waist has been described as unacceptable by the sport's governing body. Photographs of the Bogota Humana team were taken at the Tour of Tuscany, showing 6 women wearing red and yellow kit with flesh-colored material immediately above and below the waist. After the pictures went viral on social media, Brian Cookson, the English president of the International Cycling Union, wrote on Twitter, "To the many who have raised the issue of a certain women's team kit, we are on the case. It is unacceptable by any standard of decency." Among leading riders criticizing the outfits was the Welsh former Commonwealth Olympic and World Road Race champion Nicole Cook. She's quoted as saying, "This has turned the sport into a joke. Girls, stand up for yourselves." However, what is perhaps more remarkable is that the designers have been attempting to show that the women's kit was not sexist by posting pictures of the men's version, which is equally bizarre. While nothing about the suits are anatomically correct, the skin tone fabric indeed makes the women look exposed and makes the men look like they've got a tumor growing over their male parts.
Was that the end? Okay.
Yeah, reported by Yahoo News.
The next story is from CNN. The Obama administration is launching a big new offensive combating sexual assault on college campuses. This morning, the White House launches its On Us, which is a campaign aimed at tackling the problem plaguing universities across the country. The movement, developed from recommendations issued by a White House-ordered task force in April, will seek to raise awareness and educate college students about the issue and what can be done to prevent it.
U.S. stocks rose for a third day, sending benchmark indexes to records as data showed fewer Americans filed for jobless claims and investors speculated interest rates will remain low. ConAgra Foods, owner of the Chef Boyardee and Healthy Choice food brands, gained 4.6% after reporting earnings that topped estimates. Kohl's added 1.6% after analysts at Citigroup told clients to buy the shares. Rite Aid tumbled 19% after saying lower reimbursement rates and higher costs for drugs hurt profit. AOL rallied on takeover speculation, reported by Bloomberg.
And the next story is from CNN. NASA says its latest Mars exploring spacecraft is on track to fire up its thrusters and enter orbit this Sunday night, completing a 10-month journey of 442 million miles. NASA's Maven spacecraft will live up to its former name, the Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution Craft, by helping scientists figure out how ancient Mars changed so dramatically into the planet we know today. It will be the first mission devoted to studying the upper Martian atmosphere as a key to understanding the history of Mars's climate, water, and habitability.
Dozens of Michigan hearse enthusiasts will show off their casket-carrying cars during a parade through hell. The procession tomorrow is part of the 13th annual Hellfest celebration in the hamlet, 45 miles west of Detroit. It follows an all-hearse car show. The Hell-based car club, called Just Hearsin' Around, is hoping to reclaim a Guinness World Records mark it set in 2011 when 51 vehicles made the parade. A 107-strong hearse contingent in the Netherlands shattered that record a year later. Just Hearsin' Around co-founder Frank Heaton told the Livingston County Daily Press and Argus of Howell that some funeral homes will take part, but the retired police officer says most won't because they think we're a bunch of, well, we are weird people, reported by the Associated Press.
From the Reuters news agency, the scandal-scarred NFL must have zero tolerance for players who beat their spouses or abuse their kids and have the guts to kick them out of the league forever. That's a statement from former star quarterback Fran Tarkenton. He is quoted in the report saying, "We don't need this to be something that's pushed under the table." He went on to say, "We cannot let these people get away with this. We've got to have zero tolerance here, and the National Football League cannot just spin this." The NFL Hall of Famer's no-nonsense warning came as the league struggled to contain a growing backlash from its lenient behavior toward players facing domestic violence and child abuse allegations.
There's some truth to the effectiveness of folk remedies and old wives' tales when it comes to serious medical issues. This is according to findings by a team from Detroit Medical Center. Dr. Sonal Serayas and her colleagues in Michigan found that packing strips of cured pork in the nose of a child who suffers from uncontrollable, life-threatening nosebleeds can stop the hemorrhaging, a discovery that won them a 2014 Nobel Prize. The annual award for sometimes inane yet often surprisingly practical scientific discoveries. This year's winners, honored Thursday at Harvard University by the Annals of Improbable Research magazine, included a team of researchers who wondered if owning a cat was bad for your mental health. Japanese scientists who tested whether banana peels are really as slippery as cartoons would have us believe, and a Norwegian biologist who tested whether reindeer on the Arctic archipelago of Svalbard were frightened by humans dressed to resemble polar bears, reported by the Associated Press.
From the Reuters news agency, a 51-year-old Florida man shot dead his daughter and 6 grandchildren in his home before killing himself yesterday. Don Spirit, identified by authorities as the suspect, called 911 and killed himself after a sheriff's deputy arrived at the scene, according to the Gilchrist County Sheriff's Office. Everyone in the house was killed, according to the report. The eldest of the children was 10. We're all family here. What can you say? Said Gilchrist County Sheriff Robert Schultz. The incident occurred near Bell, which is a town of about 500, located roughly 35 miles west of Gainesville. Schultz declined to give the name of the dead woman in this report, although I do have it. Just give me a second here. I'm sorry. Her name is, Sarah. Sarah Spirit was his daughter's name. And then the children are also named in a separate report that I think I got that other report from the Florida Today newspaper.
Responding to complaints of excessive force, Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Gil Kurlikowski has announced the agency will now have the authority to conduct criminal investigations into misconduct within its ranks and will introduce the use of body cameras. This is his quote, "This is something that has not existed in a pretty good number of years. This is in conjunction with the Office of Inspector General. We now have the primary authority to conduct these independent internal criminal investigations. That authority translates to a more timely and a more transparent process to investigate misconduct," reported by ABC.
And from CNN, as hospitals in nations hardest hit by Ebola struggle to keep up, desperate patients are turning to the black market to buy blood from survivors of the virus. That, according to the World Health Organization. The deadliest Ebola outbreak in history has killed at least 2,400 people in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, the countries most affected by the virus. Thousands more are infected, and new cases have emerged in Nigeria and Senegal. Blood from survivors, referred to as convalescent serum, is said to have antibodies that can fight the deadly virus. Though unproven, it has provided some promise in fighting a disease with no approved drug to treat it.
On Thursday, cooperation was stepped up with the UN watchdog's investigation into suspected atomic bomb research by Iran. It is seemingly ready to get a broader nuclear deal that would ease sanctions. The warning was issued at a board meeting of the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna as chief negotiators from Iran and 6 world powers prepared to resume talks in New York after a 2-month hiatus. Iran's envoy Rezi Najafi dismissed accusations about his country's atomic activities as mere allegations without any substantiation, but also said a new meeting with the IAEA to discuss the matter was expected to be held soon, reported by the Jerusalem Post.
And from the Bleacher Report, the Atlanta Falcons were set for a game last night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they got a little scared during the pregame introductions. While coming onto the field, Matt Ryan was hit in the eye during some pregame pyrotechnics, fireworks, and then had to put in some eye drops on the sideline. At first, it looked like it was causing Ryan quite a bit of discomfort, or at least enough for him to quickly take his helmet off. It didn't seem to bother Ryan too much, though, however, as he went 4 of 4 on the opening drive, ending it with a touchdown pass to Harry Douglas to take the 7-0 lead. That's all the time we have for News Bites. Robin, how many stories?
21.
Jim George is next. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. Voters in Scotland have their say.
I just think we're better off together.
She's among the voters who weren't won over by the economic arguments for independence. In the end, it was 55% versus 45% from a turnout of 85%. But the result is still expected to change the way the UK works, with Scotland being promised more powers will be handed over from London.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen in Edinburgh. A Florida man who spent time behind bars for the shooting death of his son a decade ago, believed to have killed several family members.
So far, authorities don't know why 51-year-old Don Spirit killed 6 of his grandchildren and his daughter before turning the gun on himself. They say Spirit called 911 on Thursday to say he might harm himself or others. And when deputies arrived, he shot himself to death.
Fox Radio's Tanya J. Powers. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Sending important work files as regular attachments is a big risk. You lose control the moment you hit send. That's why millions of professionals rely on Citrix ShareFile, the easy-to-use business solution for exchanging files quickly and securely. With ShareFile, send files of almost any size without bounce backs. Files are encrypted and remain under your control. Try Citrix ShareFile free for 30 days. Go to sharefile.com. Click the microphone at the top of the homepage.